welcome to this week's masterclass. We have Teresa in the house, all the way from Savannah, Georgia. And even though she doesn't have an accent from there, I don't
Oh, I
know.
can. You want me to put it on? I'll be happy to.
That's awesome.
We were just talking about Claxton and fruitcake.
That's awesome. It's fantastic. You can do with or without the accent. It's completely up to you. So this week she's gonna be talking about how to be the mayor of your town. And obviously, I'm not sure exactly which direction you're going to go with that, but I'd love to be able to hear more about it, and hopefully everyone can participate. Just a reminder, you guys, that these classes are recorded. There are no podcasts that you can listen to on Apple Tunes or wherever you look at your or listen to your podcast. And of course, they're on our website as well. So Teresa, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, I've made all these little notes because I usually have if I do this, I do it like with a slideshow. And so I have something to go by. So today I may get off. If I get too wordy, y'all just pull me back. But I don't even know how many years ago, I've heard in my second year of real estate, third year of real estate, someone said they forgot that I was a realtor and they used somebody else. And I think I did that little Scarlett O'Hara thing, as God is my witness, and I was like, nobody will ever forget again. And it wasn't too long after that I was at one of Tom's events and he started talking about being the mayor of your town. And I was like, I can do that. I can do that. I have 3 kids. I go to church. I do all these things and I'm always out there. I can do that. So, it was the whole video craze when we all used to do this really, really bad videos. And I did way more than my share of them and went live all the time. And I decided that, for lack of a better term, I'd be a fool for money for a dollar. I didn't care. So I started videoing all these people and interviewing all these people all over town. And that was kind of how I got started with this. Nobody's ever going to forget that I'm a real estate agent. So I started a series called Teresa on the Town way, way back. And I would go and take my little videographer and we would go and we would do this video of a business. And we wouldn't really talk about real estate. We would just talk about their business, their passion, why they started it, and the history of it. And that's kind of how I started the give backs. And then as I got more successful, I realized my grandmother had a really heavy part of raising me. And she used to always tell me, too much is given, much is expected. So I started doing give backs as well. But I'm not going to try to get off track of my little notes here. But so I do a lot of different things. And when I start talking about it, sometimes people they think, well, God, I can't do all that. Well, you don't have to do all of that. I didn't do it all in the beginning either. I've built on it little by little, and I've made a whole bunch of mistakes and wasted a whole bunch of money on things that didn't work, for sure. But where we're at now is I never want anybody to forget that I'm a realtor or that I have a team or that this is what we do for a living. So it's very important for me. And you can't really just do one thing. It can't just all be social. It can't be print. It can't be you have to do a little bit of all of it because people respond to different types of marketing and different types of different types of marketing. So the most successful thing that I do, I think, is just be part of it. Just be part of the marketing, be part of the community, be out there talking to people, reminding them what I do for a living, and also reminding them who I am. Because I've really shared probably more than I should on Facebook sometimes, all positive. I don't do any negative. But my oldest daughter she cringes sometimes with my grandkids on Facebook and stuff like that. But I'm the grandmother, so I can do whatever I want. But I think that's what makes you human and what makes you personal. And I think that's what most people relate to. They want to know that you're likable. They want to know that they can trust you, and they want to know what you can do for them when it comes down to selling their house. So I have been on morning shows. I don't do that currently, but I've been on the local morning show as the local real estate expert. That's their terminology, not mine. We've done all kind of video series. We did Mythbusters for a long time, where I looked like Sherlock Holmes and had the little hat on, and I busted the myths of real estate. So it's kind of it was about real estate, but it was still entertaining, if you will. I have dressed up like Pikachu when that was all the craze, and I've chased Pikachu. on video. So there's lots of things that I've done that people remember. I'm now at more at a phase where it's about community and giving back in that way and being there. So I dress up like Cinderella every Halloween. And thankfully there's no child that's told me so far that I'm too old to be Cinderella. But I do dress up like Cinderella every year, and I go to the schools because my oldest daughter's a teacher, and we do the trunk or treat. And we this year we started doing the Halloween, which is downtown, and it's huge, and it's basically a wiener dog race that's on crack. And now they've got all these vendors and all this stuff going on. So it's just a different niche of people that I may not know and may not know me, because this is a different crowd. So we do that now. And when I say we, I mean we, like my team is a big, huge part of this. I couldn't do all this by myself. Um, we do St. Patrick's Day, and I'm on TV during St. Patrick's Day during that big parade. We've got the third largest parade in the country, so we do that. We I uh There's a movie called I Bought a Zoo. Yeah, I bought a venue. So literally during COVID, the worst possible time to buy a venue, I got called to list a property, and it had a big barn on it, and I bought it. Oh, that's somebody's feedback. Never mind. And so I bought this venue because I'm really big into giving back and charities. And so I thought this would be a great way to make my heart happy, but also it's great marketing. So I bought it, and we've renovated it a little bit, but we have weddings there and they pay the bills. And of course, people who are newly wedded need houses. So that's a great way to market to them. But even more than that, like we've done it for, I'm a big proponent of SD Gunner, which is they provide therapy dogs for compromised children and PTSD soldiers and things like that. So we have a big event for them. Combat Boots to the Boardroom, we have a big event for them. Every Easter, we have a huge Easter egg hunt, and we have vendors come in and set up their. And a lot of this you can get paid for by other people. Like I don't have to pay for everything because the vendors are paying, and there's a lot of ways to get them to help pay for the event. You don't have to fork out all the money for this stuff. And then I wander around the crowd and and talk to people and hug kids and sit with the Easter bunny, and everything's videoed, everything. And I think that's the part that some people miss, is that content's great, but content's not worth anything if it's not shared, right? And so you have to make sure that you are sharing it all. But you have to obviously do it first. And a lot of people won't commit to doing it.
So Teresa,
Um,
if I can interject,
you can interject as much as you want, otherwise I'll ramble.
good. Here's when I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm not the mayor.
Mhm,
And for anyone that's on here or may listen to us at some other point in time, it seems overwhelming.
mhm,
So,
mhm,
if you were to say, okay, what can I do to begin? Because, while you were talking in the beginning, I went on YouTube and started, stalking you on there. And I've seen that you have been on, talk shows or like local TV and stuff like that, which I'm like, dude, that'd be freaking awesome. How
mhm.
do you even do that? Or like, again, how do you start? How do you get the things and some things do cost money, and I don't have money to be able to have a videographer come and follow me everywhere. And so like, what is the most cost effective way, and what's the most bang for your buck if you were to start over again today and didn't have a lot of money to invest? What's the best way to be able to still accomplish that task of being the mayor of the town?
Yeah, and when I started, I didn't have money. So let's don't, I'm not here. This person is not that person that started 18 years ago or 17 years ago, whenever. I had a tripod and a camera, and it was a lot harder, right? And then it went to the iPhone, which was way easier. And so now I have a guy who works for me that is in marketing, and his claim to fame is video. So he does go do a lot of this stuff, but even still, there's a lot of stuff that is still done with my iPhone and a tripod, or propped up in front of my computer or on my kitchen table or whatever, where I'm just doing a video of whatever. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be something that is sent off and edited and all. In fact, I don't think people like it as much. I think they really enjoy the authenticness and the goof ups. And when you go, oh gosh, you know, and you kind of have to start over, they know that's you for real. So I don't think it has to be polished all the time. Some things are good that are polished, but I don't think it has to be polished.
Can I share my screen? I think this is amazing. Here she is 14 years
Oh my
ago.
God. That was horrible.
It's, I mean, but this is the story, right? Like it's, some people think, oh, she's, successful overnight. Well, hell no, we've freaking put a shit ton of money in, or not money,
Yeah.
but, energy into this. It's a process. So
Yeah.
going back to, and I didn't mean to embarrass you with that. I
No, that's
apologize.
okay. That was probably one of my first videos. I think we did like 47,000 takes.
That's right.
And I think one of my kids was behind the camera, if I'm not mistaken. But
Awesome. So
that
going
was
back
another
to,
thing I did early on was I have 3 girls and we like made this pact because I was divorced and I was like, hey, y'all want to go to college? Yeah. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so this has to be a family affair. Like, and so consequently, my youngest one, who is you never know what's going to happen with Taylor Cowart. Like, I would get people calling me saying, hey, are you Taylor Cowart's mom? And I'd say, yeah. Like, what'd she do? What happened? And it was always like, well, most of the time it was like, well, she was at my house the other night and she told me that I needed to have you sell my house, you know?
mm,
And so I did get listings because of my children. I got listings because they were in cheerleading. I got listings because, people went to church with me, buyers and sellers. But I wore my name tag every single day of my life, everywhere I went, except for church. That was the only time I took it off. But, and I don't really think God would have cared, but I just felt like that, some people would have talked about it. I live in the deep South.
yeah,
So that was the time that I took it off. But you learn a lot as you go through it. You just have to start. You have to do something, commit to something.
going back to starting, like
Yeah.
what would you say would be the 3 types of, or categories of videos that should be made? And then, like obviously we all know where to post them, right? Post them on YouTube and
Mhm.
social media in general. But what are the 3 categories of videos that you think would be the best use of time for agents to be able to, become theoretically the virtual mayor of the town?
I think that if you anytime you can, what was that Zig Ziglar that used to say about like if you can help somebody else get what they want, that you always get what you want, kind of the same thing. Like if I can showcase another business and talk about them, then we both win kind of thing. And it's not, you don't have to pay them anything for them to do that. They will gladly let you, the mom and pops will gladly let you come in and do a video series. And I think I stole that idea from someone else, but he was doing like restaurants. And I was like, well, I'm not eating my way through Savannah because I'll never fit my clothes. So I'll just do different types of businesses.
Yeah.
But that was a huge hit. And then the other one that I did that had a bunch of interest and a following was the Mythbusters. And that was because I was in a character mode, but I was also talking about real estate, but not talking about real estate, if that makes any sense. So I was like, I was talking about real estate and I was telling you that these are things that the general public believes, but are not true. But it wasn't coming across as preachy and it wasn't coming across as I'm shoving real estate down your throat. It was more, about being entertaining and being educational at the same time. And I think that's kind of the key to those kind of videos because nobody just wants to listen to you ramble about real estate.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other side is just things that interest other people, community events. So when I go to community events, I try to highlight what's going on at this event or who it's for. Or, for a while there, I felt like everybody was recruiting me to be on their recruitment team or their help me raise money for this or help me raise money for that. And I was always calling or videoing or doing something to somebody to try to help them raise money. But at the same time, it looked like that it didn't look like I do that I cared about my community and that my life wasn't all about real estate. Because ultimately, when I die, I don't want everybody to come to my funeral and say she was a great realtor. I want them to say she's a great human being.
So how do you, if I were to strategically organize that, is there a resource where you're getting the community event information? Are you just going to the city's website and capturing, like, from their calendar, what's happening? Where are you getting that information?
A lot of mine, I live in, like, Savannah's more clicky and smaller, but there is a Savannah calendar, and I get invited to a lot of stuff now. In the beginning, though, it was like the calendars, what's going on at the church, what's my kids doing, I would go to city hall meetings, like, just to be in the room, because then I was that, like, double-edged sword. One, I can say, hey, I'm at the city hall meeting today, and here's what we're talking about on a video. But at the same time, the public also is like, oh my gosh, she's at city hall. Like, she's like learning about what's going on. She's going to come out and tell us what they talked about. And a lot of times that was, especially if it was something that was being passed without myself being politically
Mhm.
biased either way. I would just come out, here's what was decided at the town hall meeting tonight, or whatever, whatever. Or I try to interview somebody. I've interviewed the mayor. I have of like 3 different towns, when different things came on, because that's what people want to watch. That's what they're interested in. It's not really about Teresa Cowart, but Teresa Cowart's in video. So, I did a service for the community, and those things don't cost anything except your time. Really, except for when you're trying to post them or boost them or whatever. But I mean, ultimately, that's a very social media in itself is a very cheap way to go to start out with. It's just your time. It's really just, and nobody can replace you. And I learned that the hard way too. So I can send an agent to do a video, or I can do the video, but nobody replaces me. They can have their own following, but my following is not necessarily their following. So I did kind of learn that the hard way when I tried to start farming it out and letting them do some stuff, that there's no substitute for me. So spend the time, make the investment, and go do it. And you can do them. I'm the worst one about this because I hate doing American Dream TV, but it gets me a lot of business, so I do it. But that and the local TV show, they just take a lot of time. Like, you might as well just do it all day. So when I do Trees on the Town, or when I do American Dream TV, or even that show, I would block them. So I just did one day of filming. I would have 3 or 4 different, I try to make them geographically work for me, but I would just do one whole day of filming, and that would knock out like 4 months of those. And sometimes we would repeat them or whatever, but I wouldn't have to do them all the time. I would just knock them out. That's the only way that works for me, is
Yeah.
if I do them in blocks like that.
You guys, I think it's also just, you don't have to make it a big deal. Like, if you've
Mhm.
got your town that you work in, I've done like videos where I just go to one of the parks in the town and with my camera, with my phone, and say, hey, I'm so and so at this specific park, which is on the corner of this street and this street, and this particular park has these amenities, and it's
Yeah.
called this park. And then that was it. That was the video. And like those types of videos have gotten thousands and thousands of views, just because people, when they're doing searches for the town they want to maybe live in, that stuff comes up because of the searches or the keywords that I use. And it could be the local parks. It could be, you can be in front of the school. I've been at the high school when the graduating class is like doing their ceremony, and just be in front of the class and be like, hey, this is Zara with Fiv Realty. I'm here in front of yada yada school, and today's, the seniors are graduating. Congratulations, class of 2000, whatever. And it's
Mhm.
just that simple, right? It could be those small little things that you put on there that don't take a lot of energy and time, but have such a huge impact. Costco's top, or Robert's talking
Mhm.
about Costco coming into town. Just anything, any new restaurants that open up or things that may close down. There's this guy that's a title rep. He does a phenomenal job in our area, where he like goes to this, just like Teresa was saying, goes to the city, gets all the information of what's coming up, what new buildings or what new, what things getting done, and he'll just post about it every single week. Every week you get a video from him that talks about what's happening in certain parts of the town, and it's just, tons of people view it. So you're right, it doesn't all have to be about real estate.
The lives were really
Mm.
beneficial for me when I did a ton of lives. Like, if I was in a parade, or in which we do a lot of parades and stuff, and I would go live, and I would do like man on the street too, because there's no shame in my game. So I'd be like, hey, where are you from? Where are you from? And I would put all these different people on camera, and then they would all share it. Like they
Mhm.
would share these lives, and I try not to make them too long because then you will lose people. But there's a parade here in our little small suburb that it's a Christmas parade, and I do it every year. And if I left it on the whole 3 hours, people would be watching it the whole 3 hours because there's so many people who aren't actually on the parade and it's not televised, and they want to see their kid or their grandkid or whoever, because that's all it is, that kind of thing, all the cheerleaders, all the dancers, blah blah. But I think that those things help you with your SEO and with all that kind of stuff. But I think the more that you can show people that you're a real person and that you're trying to add value and you're trying to give them information, the bigger your following will be, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just recently, Gary Vaynerchuk started doing all day long live videos.
Hmm.
What's interesting is that on my watch, on my phone, I get notifications. Gary V's live. Gary
Yeah,
V's
yeah.
live. And you go on there, and yeah, he's got millions of followers, so he's always has a ton of people watching his videos. But it doesn't matter if there's only one person watching, or frankly, if there's no person watching, because that video is still going to become a post on your page.
Hmm.
So like going live and just doing whatever you're doing, especially if it's something that is worthwhile and people want to see it, like it's worthwhile doing.
Yep.
Teresa, what else would be something that you feel has been instrumental? Obviously, you talked about showcasing businesses and doing some variation of like a show that you can sprinkle in real estate information, maybe bust some of those myths, and then obviously talking about the community events that are happening. What else do you think you feel would be the secret sauce, if there's anything that would get people or agents to be known as the local experts? And is there anything else that we haven't covered?
Well, I mean, we have a billboard, and this is not local expert, but we do have a company, and there's like 4 billboards, and they're all kind of strategically placed, and they're digital, so you can change them anytime you want. So sometimes it's just a word of the day and the definition of it in real estate, you know. And then sometimes, well, and usually there's like 3 or 4 that rotate during the day. And we try to always have like a new homeowner up there that like are really happy picture of them outside, and they always take pictures of those and share the picture of themselves, outside the attorney's office.
Yeah.
And likewise, that new listings, but we try to make it a story, not just new listing 123 Easy Street. It's
Mhm.
like new listing, they bought it 10 years ago, and some kind of little story, because you want people to remember it and say, oh yeah, at open houses, we put our Easter egg hunts, our Santa pictures, like anything that you can do like that, you put up there. And then like when we have our events, which are huge, they've got a following now. When people start coming to you and saying, "Hey, are you still doing the Easter bunny pictures this year at All Things Chocolate?" Because we partner with a local business. That's a big deal. Like you're doing it, but I think consistency is the other side of that. If you're going to do pictures with Santa or pictures with the Easter bunny it takes a year or two before that becomes something that you have like a little following for. And
Yeah,
people will wait for you because they don't want to go to the mall, to do that. So they'll call you or they'll email you or whatever. And we put all that community stuff. We also put in our drips that go to our leads, so that they're not always just getting stuff about real estate either. They're also learning about our community and things that are happening there. So I think you have to be more well-rounded. If you're just only talking about real estate all the time, then you're gonna have, in my opinion, you're gonna have a smaller following. Like you gotta be more well-rounded than that. You gotta, everybody's got different people have different personalities, so you have to appeal to those different personalities.
for
And
sure.
I don't think anything a lot of what I do doesn't cost that much money. It just really doesn't. Um, it's just doing it, and none of it is super polished or super perfect. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
Robert,
be.
Robert Mack, you had a question?
Yeah, thank you so much, Teresa. This is all awesome stuff. When do you partner with vendors and others and do collaborative events?
We do sometimes, yeah, yeah. Like there's like the Halloween things that we do. There's always other realtors and other companies, and then our attorney, our lender, all those guys get involved in a lot of the events that we do. Because I couldn't do stuff that I do without partners, financial partners, and honestly, any good realtor, I'm happy to do something with them, you know, as long as their reputation is as good as mine, we're good, we're golden. But yeah, we do a lot of stuff with other people. We do a lot of, like, if we do an open house, we try to involve other people that have listings in the area, and we'll actually go video theirs at the same time we're videoing ours, and put them online with us, so let's sell them all. It's not just about me. So let's sell them all. Was that the question?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Why should people do this?
Why should you? I mean, why wouldn't you do this? This is like everybody and their brothers on social media. Like, I'm one of those people that I try not to get on TikTok and Reels too much myself personally, because I'll get lost and it'll be 2 hours or 3 hours out of my life at night, especially watching Reels. And my daughter came in there last night and she goes, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "Look at this stupid dog," or whatever, because that's what people do. That's what we do, right? So I think if you can't get to them one way, if they're not responding to your email, even your text, if you shoot a quick video, hey, we have it in our drips that the first video that goes out, or the first thing that goes out to all the leads, is me. And it's a short video, and it's just, "Hey, this is Teresa Cowart. Thank you so much for coming by, our website. We really appreciate it. And in a few minutes, one of my agents is going to call you. They'll introduce themselves, and they'll probably send you a video like mine. I just wanted you to have a face with a name and know that you can always call me." And that's pretty much all it says. It's like quick and easy, but it goes to every client that ever signs up on our website or gets there anyway. So I think that quick, easy, nobody wants to be, the whole younger generation, especially, has a short little time span that they're going to stay on with you. So you got to tell them what you want them to know, right? Really quick, unless it's like a live video and you're doing a parade, and then you can stay on for hours. But and I don't think it's one thing. I think it's just a lot of little things that make you known.
Some people have a limiting belief that if someone's already doing it in the town, that there's not enough room for another person to do it. So what would you say to them about that? Like, so if you had like 4 or 5 people all trying to do this type of thing in the same exact city, what would you say to that?
I just think that my audience is not your audience. So I don't know. And imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. So when people say to me things like, "Why are they doing that? You do that." I mean, that just means that they like what I'm doing. So I guess that I'm not going to be upset about it. Go ahead. And your people are not my people. Your audience is not my audience. So, not, well, you know what I'm saying. But so I think that if somebody's doing something really good, there's no real reason why you can't take it and make it you and do the same thing. Because it's not going to be them, it's you. You can change it enough that it doesn't look like you're copycatting. But
I mean, if you think about it, if you go to
there's no original ideas.
if you go to an event and you see 10 different news stations there with their own people, with their mics, literally talking about the same exact event. Why is that? You're like, well, we only need one of them. No, every single news station has a news channel, and each channel has a different type of audience. And so you could have literally 10 people in the same spot showcasing the same exact damn thing that's happening. And that's completely fine, because the people that they're reaching, and there might be a little bit of crossover, but who cares? It's got people that are going to be resonating with you, right? And so don't worry about anybody else. And in fact, the more people that do it, that's fine. And so don't get caught up in that. And also don't get caught up in the logistical how to.
Right.
First of all, know that it's a you must do or you should do. And then the rest is just logistics, right? It's just putting on a calendar saying, this is what I'm going to do this, and just get out of your own mind and just get it done.
And if you don't know how, there's lots of people who will do it for you very inexpensively.
For sure.
The only thing they can't do is be you. But other than that, you can take it, send it. And we have a Savannah College of Art and Design here. Lots of students, tons of them, that will take stuff and make it great.
And done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Done is better than perfect. So just freaking get out there. Don't be afraid. Just get it done. And it's going to be okay, because guess what? If you're not doing it, your competitor is. And if
Mhm.
you don't do it, then you don't exist. And if you don't exist, then you can't whine about not having business. And trust me, guys, as things continue to change down in our industry, if you don't have the capacity to be able to be willing to share your knowledge with people and be able to be out there, then you're going to get lost very, very quickly.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Any last words that you want to share with us?
I mean, I just think that marketing, like real estate and everything else, is about building relationships and being authentic. And if people know, like, and trust you, they will do business with you. So even if I don't know you personally, over the years, I've had people come up to me that were total strangers and say, how are your grandkids? Or how's that silly dog of yours or whatever? And it's like, at first you're like, do I know you? But then you're like, it doesn't matter. You know me.
Yeah.
You think you know me. And that's why I'm doing it, is so that, lots of different reasons, but they all come down to the fact that marketing allows me to have the lifestyle that I want, which allows me to give back to people and do the things that I really want to do in my life. So, and spend a lot of time with my grandkids. And if they're on video, then, whatever. But I just think that you just have to get out there and do it. Don't be afraid. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. Just don't be afraid. Just do it.
That's it.
You're right. Somebody told me that a long time too ago about, like, um, done makes more money than perfect every single day of the week.
That's
So
right.
just do it.
Yeah. If you go back on YouTube and stalk me and you see my videos from 11, 12 years ago, trust me, it's rough.
They're
And
hard to watch sometimes.
yeah, they are. And I had lot less gray hair back then, but like you got to start somewhere. Don't compare my day 19 in real estate to your day 1 or day 1, first year into it. Like, just be willing to step out of your comfort zone and just get the freaking video done. Don't worry about how your hair looks. Don't worry about how, if your makeup is perfect or if you've got the right clothes on. It doesn't matter. Just freaking do it, because it's all about over and over again. It's just that Chinese torture of keep on dripping on people, because once you do, then you get that celebrity type of, look, where you walk into a restaurant or you walk into wherever and people start recognizing you, and that's who you want, because that's when success happens, when you don't have to introduce yourself anymore.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And one of my most watched videos was during hurricane, and I was
Mm.
out on my back porch and literally had shorts, tennis shoes, and my hair in a ponytail and zero makeup. And I was just like, I was showing them the river, like, how wild it was and how crazy it was. And it got watched so many times. And I thought, and then I went around my neighborhood and checked on people's houses on my golf cart and videoed that. And it was like that. People watched that stuff and ate it up. And then people started calling me, hey, can you check on my house? Can you check on my house? And it became this whole thing. I didn't know that when I did it, when I
Yeah.
started it, but it became a huge thing. And people talked about that forever, about how I went and checked on people's houses and sent them pictures of their houses to let them know that it was okay, because they didn't stay. And
That's
then other
awesome.
people gave me hate mail about the fact that I stayed during a hurricane. I don't care. All right. Right.
Always gonna have haters.
Yeah, I don't care. But yeah, I just think that for me, it wasn't something that I thought about too much in the beginning. I
That's
just
awesome.
did
That's all it takes. You gotta have
it.
courage.
Yeah, just did it and
Teresa,
didn't care.
thank you so much for your time.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much for preparing. And I hope that you guys take away from this is that, again, just get out there, right? Stop the limiting beliefs, stop all the chatter in your head, the drunk monkey, and just get it done. And I promise you, if you do that, then you get to a point where people just naturally, you become a magnet for business instead of having to go chase it.
Yeah.
So
And I'm happy to share, just so everybody knows, if you want a list of things that we do, I will share it with you. And some of the most successful things, charities and events that we had that didn't cost us hardly anything, I will happily share it with you.
that's awesome. I love it. Thanks for your generosity.
Yeah.
All right, guys, have an amazing Thursday, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Mhm.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.